Hey, hi, Sofia. I was not going to record this, but I'm making a big effort actually. After you watch the two videos, which explains how vowels and consonants are classified, and which is actually subject matter from phonetics, then I'm going to review just a little bit some of the things you will need to know so you can understand the new topics. Okay, so when we have the vowel chart, which is this one, right? This is the chart of the vowels in English. It is actually something that we are imitating in the mouth. Therefore, when we see these sounds, E, and here we're missing A. Oh no, this is A. It's just that they write it just with an E. E, A, A. This is because these these vowels are made in the front of the mouth. Okay, when we go to the middle, we're going to find the schwa. Now, this schwa and this one are actually the same sound, but they are used differently according to whether the word is monosyllabic or has more than one syllable, and it has or does not have the stress. And this one is a combination of a schwa plus an R. See that the sound is going to be a little bit different because it's learn. And this one, of course, is the typical schwa of, and this one is of, it's of, since it's a modal verb, then its stress is must, but still Okay, and then these vowels, u, o, a, and a, are going to be made in the back of the mouth. Now, besides these, we have the diphthongs, which are these. These are diphthongs because from one vowel to the other, they move a lot in the chart. They're not like in the same place. So one of the diphthongs is I, okay, because it goes from A, which is around here, to E, which is around here. So I is a diphthong. Bout is a diphthong. Let me give you another word because all of these start with B, but house. House would be a diphthong. We have the A, and then we go up here to the lax U, ow. And then we have oi, which is also something that, well, we have to move from the oi, see, here to the E. So these three sounds are diphthongs, meaning that when you transcribe words, some of them are made with these sounds. It's not, let's not see them as one single sound, but a diphthong. And you have to remember then that there is a symbol and there is a diphthong for these sounds. So I did ask in the first questions about diphthongs, which were the diphthongs and etc., because I think we had not seen them. Okay, okay, so this is regarding the video about vowels. Regarding the video about consonants, the video is going to explain many basic concepts, right? And there are some that are very, very important for us because we're going to need them from now on. Okay, so see that we have two classifications. All of these classifications, these names, are the place of articulation, meaning where I put my lips, my teeth, yes, the tip of my tongue, my lips, my teeth, that is basically it. So that is why they're called the place of articulation. And these are called the manner of articulation. How are they made with the air that we breathe and then we make sounds? So you are going to see here that they're going to cross. For example, all of these sounds, which you saw in the video, are stops or occlusives. I don't know how the video calls them, but you take the air from your lungs and you're going to stop them with something in your mouth. And then you're going to project that air outwards. So for example, in P and B, we stop the air with our lips. In the case of T and D, we stop the air with the tip of our tongue behind our front teeth. With the case of K and G, see that we stop the air and say K. So the air is coming out and we stop it and then we let it flow, making a sound. These stops are made in the back of our mouth, much in the back. I'm going to show you here. If we place this chart in our mouth, this is what it will look like. So the velar sounds are around here. We are going to make them around here. And this is called the velum. The velum is a soft tissue that you feel after the roof of your mouth. So like in Spanish, el cielo de la boca, right? The roof of your mouth is hard. And if you take your tongue and take it back a little bit more, you'll feel a soft tissue. So this is the velum. And this is why these two sounds are called velar. Okay, so we don't need to go into detail how these are made. We can, well, you can watch a video or you can just observe the chart, or you can even use the chart when you're needed. So the first topic of the course, besides this review, was about sounds that change to become more similar to other sounds. And this is called a process of assimilation. Now, for this process to be understood, we need to understand the relationship between these, let's say, these cells that have two sounds in them, right? Or also this line that has three sounds in them. We need to understand relationships between them. So the first relationship here is that these two sounds, pa and ba, are stops and are also bilabial. We close our mouth to make, or we close our lips and then open them again to make them. These two, T and D, are also stops, right? Because we stop the air, but we use the tip of our tongue in our alveolar ridge, meaning behind your teeth, to make them. And these are made in the velum, remember, so the back part of the mouth. Now, we have these that are stops. We have other that are similar in the way they are made, like all of these where there's friction in the sound, like f, v, v, s, z. So there's friction in these sounds. You can hear them clearly. But how are they different? They are different because I'm going to place my articulators in different positions. These are, remember, the place of articulation. So we're saying that all of these are made in the same way. This is the manner of articulation. They are made with friction, but each of them is made in a different position. Okay, so what is important about these cells where we have two sounds? That they have only one difference. If you see, this is bilabial and stop, and we have both sounds there. So the difference between them is that the B is going to have a vibration in our vocal cords. Our vocal cords are in our throat and we can feel them. So that vibration is going to be made when the air comes out of our lungs. It passes through the vocal cords and the vocal cords would vibrate. So they're going to vibrate in this chart with the one that is lower. For example, with the B, the D, and the G. This means that these three sounds are different from the one in the top, even though they are exactly the same. Besides that, so the B has vibration, the D has vibration, and the G has vibration. They're called, as a matter of fact, there are many ways to call them, but we are calling them, what is it that we're calling them? Voiced or unvoiced. So voiced would be the ones that have friction, and voiceless or unvoiced, let's say voiceless, are going to be the ones in the top. So the same for these. The F is voiceless, the V is voice. However, besides that, they are almost the same sound, practically the same, because they are both labial-dental and they are both fricative. So in lab, they were calling this, I don't know if you're taking lab, but they were calling these two sounds, these groups of sounds. I'll remember in a second. So what they meant, it was that it was the same sound, no, almost the same sound, or a pair of sounds where one was voiced, and the other one was voiceless. Cognates was the name that was being used in lab. I never used that because cognates also refer to words that have the same origin, but if you can understand that it's fine. So that these two, S and Z, would be cognates because they are both alveolar and they are both fricative. But the S is voiceless, it does not have vibration, and the Z is voiced. Okay, so what do we need to know right now about these? We need to know that in the past tense, there is a D sound in the past tense, in the regular past tense of verbs, right? Verbs that are regular are going to make the past tense with a D sound. Now remember that it is spelled often ED, whether we add the ED or we just add the D. For example, the verb trace, it ends with an E, so we only add the D. But the sound is going to be a D. What happens that since the D has a pair that is almost exactly like itself, but the only difference is that this one is voiced and this one is voiceless. So we are going to be able to switch the past tense from sounding D to T. So let's say in that word that I said, trace, the final sound is an S, and the S is going to be a voiceless sound. See, it's on the top. So the past tense of the word the verb trace would be traced. No, I was gonna say one that was not it. The past tense of the word seem, of the verb seem, ends with an M, and the M is voiced. See, we don't have any pair to say that this is voiceless, so this one is voiced. Therefore, we make the sound of the past tense with the voice sound, which is the D, seemed, right? I had another example before the class, but I forgot it, but it doesn't matter because what I'm explaining here is what you're going to hear in the videos. So the basic information is that since these two sounds are almost exactly the same, they are pairs, then we can use one or the other to make the past tense of a regular verb. And how we do that is that if the final sound of the verb is voiced, we're going to add a D. And if it is voiceless, we're going to add a T. That is called assimilation because I'm choosing the one that is more similar. So in the verb seem, since the last one is an M and the M is voiced, then I'm going to choose the one that is more similar to it, meaning that it's also voiced. And if I have a verb that has a last sound that is voiceless, then I'm going to take the T and make the sound of the past tense T. For example, talk. Okay, so talk ends in K. See that the upper line, the K is going to be voiceless. So when I'm going to talk about, I'm going to pronounce the verb in the past tense. Since the last sound is K, I'm not going to use a D. I'm going to use the other sound that is more similar to the K. And I'm going to say talked. Okay, so that is the explanation for the following video. And then the same thing exactly happens with the S and the Z. So when we have a plural or when we have a possessive, like saying moms, right? Mom's car. Or when we have a verb in the third person, like she drives my car. All of those S's can also go through a transformation. They can be either S's or Z's. Because if the last sound in the third person or the possessive or the possessive, the third person, and the plural, sorry, the plural. If the last sound before the S is a voice sound, then I'm going to use a Z. Like, think of the word buzz. Okay, a buzz. I spell it with an S, but the sound is a Z. No, I'm sorry. Forget about that example. That is for something else. A B. Okay, a B ends with a vowel. The vowel is voiced. All vowels are voiced. So if I want to make the plural, I'm going to say bees with the Z, not with the S, because the vowels are, all vowels are voiced. If I'm going to make the plural of the word seat, which ends in a T, then I want to say seats. Since this T is voiceless, then I'm going to use the voiceless sound S. And I'm going to say seats. Take some seats. I just saw some bees outside the window. Okay, so you're going to watch those two videos, and at least we will have done a little bit more. So all of these cases are, like I said, a simulation, because the sound is going to change according to the sound that comes before it, and it's going to become more similar. So the next part will be other types of assimilation that there are. See you.